I did teaching. I did 2 degrees. I studied, when I finished my Leaving Cert in DCU, or not in DCU, in the Telesal, I went to the DCU and I studied education and training. I was part of the first full-time group to undertake that course. Before the year I started that, it was only a part-time course. So I was very, very lucky that it became a full-time course. After that, I worked for 2 years in An Post, and then I went to the University of Wales, Aberystwyth, in which I studied my postgraduate certificate in education to become a primary school teacher. Studying didn't stop there though, because I didn't have the illustrious C3 in Honours Irish. I had to go to Marino College, and I did a postgraduate qualification in the Irish language as well. So I didn't study media at all. Media is for want of a better word, a hobby of mine, and it's something which I really, really enjoy doing, and I'm delighted that I'm able to combine the two at the present, that I'm able to get paid and work with teaching, but of course I get to do this fantastic job as a hobby. I always kind of had an interest in radio, if I'm going to be honest, but it was always kind of a way of getting in. You know, obviously we'd all love to go and work for 2FM or Today FM or LMFM, but I kind of figured that you had to start down kind of on the ground level. So it started off with me recording myself and sending it in to various radio stations, and then I was asked to be interviewed for a program called The Lillywhites, which was on Dundalk FM on a Monday evening by a man who really introduced me to Dundalk FM and the radio. His name was Neil Ross. Neil since then has unfortunately passed away. He was a very, very good friend of mine and a very good mentor, someone who I really looked up to at a young age. So it started off with that interview, and then I was asked to go on the Sports Academy on a Saturday afternoon, and it just kind of snowballed from there. The best way to describe this, people say that I definitely have a voice for radio. I may not have a face for television, but I definitely have a voice for radio. So, you know, it's something which kind of spiraled on from there. That was, I just counted it there, that was 10 years ago, and it's taken me 10 years to kind of build up experience and a repertoire in order for me to continue the media work that I do now with both Dundalk FM and with Dundalk FC. Yeah, well, I've been qualified 5 years, and the first 3 of those, I went into September not knowing where I was going to be. Now, thankfully, as the year went on, jobs picked up, and I was able to get work, and then it kind of spiraled on from 1 week to 2 weeks. Before you know it, you're on a 6-month contract. But you know, 2012 and this year were the only 2 years that I knew walking into a classroom in September, I knew that I was secure. So it takes an awful lot of hard graft. Like everything else, it takes experience. It takes you to work a day here, work a day there. As I was speaking to you outside, I know people who have qualified as a primary school teacher and have never stepped foot in the classroom. I know there's one person who's working with the Derry City Council. I know somebody else is working for a teachers union over in England. I know somebody who's involved in politics over in England. I think he's an aide to a what is their equivalent of a TD. So I mean, yes, it does kind of, in a way, build you around and make you more holistic, but at the same time, it's not what you're qualified to do. And I always wanted to be a primary school teacher ever since I was a young child, so it was just a way of getting there, and it required an awful lot of personal sacrifice to step away from Dundalk for 2 years. Now, a lot of people would think that leaving Dundalk for 2 or 3 years is a great thing, but I had an awful lot of personal connections and personal, the word I'm looking for is that I had personal connections with certain societies and certain groups. Like I had to leave Dundalk FM, I had to leave 2 theatre groups, I had to leave my friends, I had to leave all these things. I had to take the personal sacrifice to go to England in order for me to move forward, but I don't regret it for 1 minute. I think it's, if anything, it's made the makings of me. Everybody's personality lends to certain traits, and they can be confident in certain areas and they can be not so confident in others. You know, I do media work, and that has built up my confidence, but I think that also stems from the fact that I had been doing drama since I was 7 years of age. So I was very much experienced and used to speaking and performing in front of an audience. So that kind of lends itself, and it lends itself to teaching as well, because at the end of the day, you're performing in front of 22, 23 children every single day. They may not think it, but you're trying to get a message across to them, and you're trying to do it in a way that they will be engaged. So with media, it's no different. You have to put your skills and your knowledge with a little bit of confidence in order for you to present, your interview or whatever work you're doing in a lovely, confident way that will make the interviewee respond to you and engage with you. The advice I give is that, yes, look, don't get disheartened when things get pushed back. It's happened to me on more than one occasion. I could count, I've got a stack that high of what I like to call the Dear Johns, thank you for attending our interview. Unfortunately, you weren't successful in this situation. You just have to keep pushing forward. But if you have a degree in a certain discipline, but yet you want to branch off somewhere else, take on work experience, start from the ground up, build up your experience, build up your repertoire and your portfolio. Look, you'd be amazed at what kind of doors open. But the one thing I will say is make connections with people, talk to people, engage with people within, and you'd be surprised at how many doors will open. I started off with Dundalk FM, going on for an hour every Saturday. Before I knew it, I was, this time last year, I fulfilled one of my life's ambitions. I commentated on Dundalk FC game between Dundalk and Limerick last year. Like, not in my lifetime would I ever thought that I would have been able to do that. That was broadcasted all around the world. So I don't know how many people listen to me, but I'm delighted to hear that hopefully people around the world heard my voice and commentating on a game and bringing that game to life. So, just keep plugging away. It may seem daunting, it may seem very hard, but look, this too will pass and you will get there.